Today we delve into a reflection that touches on a crucial aspect of our social perception: authenticity. We live in a world that leads us to judge people based on what they show on the outside rather than who they truly are. The surface, with its splendor and masks, often deceives us. What we see is only a part, but the truth of a person is revealed in the moments when the mask falls away, when there is no longer a script to follow. In our time, where appearances prevail over substance, discerning authenticity becomes a challenge. Every small gesture and selfless action brings us closer to understanding who we truly are. In a society that trains us to judge people by their well-groomed smiles, politely measured words, elegant clothes, and flawless social media posts, beneath this seemingly smooth surface, a very different reality often lies. A person may appear self-confident, kind, and lovable, but that's precisely where the deception lies. A person's true nature emerges not when everything is going well, but when there's nothing left to gain, when they're no longer under society's watchful eye, when no one applauds them. Our culture constantly pushes us to believe that what we see is truth, that appearances are a genuine reflection of who a person truly is. But who is a person when they have nothing to gain, when there is no social pressure to influence them? In these moments, a person's true essence is revealed, not in the search for external validation, but in their behavior when there is no self-interest on their part. In those moments when there is no audience watching, the mask falls, and what remains is who a person truly is. And this is the real challenge, not to be fooled by appearances, but to carefully observe how a person behaves when they have nothing to gain from the other, when their behavior is not filtered by the desire to impress. Observing human behavior without external judgment is one of the most complex challenges, but also one of the most revealing. Think of all the times we've encountered a person who seemed to have everything under control, who exuded confidence, but who, just once, or in an environment devoid of expectations, revealed a completely different side of themselves. This double-facedness isn't necessarily a sign of intentional deceit, but rather a manifestation of what happens when an individual is no longer bound by social mechanisms and expectations. Authenticity never emerges when there's a judgmental audience. It reveals itself only in silence, when the attention subsides and the individual is no longer forced to wear their mask. Here, in this void, the truth emerges. And it's precisely when a person is no longer observed or judged that they can let go, be who they are without any concern for their image. And so, we see that the real challenge isn't just knowing others, but knowing ourselves, recognizing when we're guided by true authenticity and when we're driven by a need for external approval. The disconnect we feel between who we truly are and what we show others is often the result of a life lived in constant comparison with others. It is in this constant search for approval that an internal fracture is created, a conflict between our authentic self and our social self. But how can we overcome this disconnect? How can we become authentic in a world that rewards appearances? The answer, perhaps, lies in awareness, in the ability to observe our actions, reflect on our behavior, and commit to being true to what we feel deep down without any need for external validation. A person's true nature emerges not in moments of prosperity, but in times of difficulty. It is difficulties that reveal our inner strength or our weakness. And this applies not only to life's great difficulties, but also to the small, everyday challenges. How do we react when faced with a challenge we can't immediately overcome? Are we ready to give up, or do we get up and try again? That's when we see who we truly are. Authentic people don't need to impress. They act according to their values regardless of who's watching or the circumstances. Their integrity doesn't depend on the audience, but on a profound respect for themselves and others. Small daily actions, those that may seem insignificant to others, like a smile towards someone who can't reciprocate, or an act of kindness towards someone who has no power or influence, are subtle yet powerful signs that reveal an individual's true character. Conversely, impatience or rudeness towards someone who can't return an immediate favor are indicative of a fragile ego, one that seeks its own advantage at all costs. Truly authentic people don't try to be kinder to those who can give them something in return. Their kindness is gratuitous, devoid of hidden motives, not aimed at obtaining a return. Those who show impatience or rudeness toward those who can offer them nothing are simply masking their own insecurity. They are unconsciously saying, "My respect is selective. You only matter if you serve me." And this statement, made without words, reveals a profound inner weakness. Carl Jung, with his great wisdom, invites us to reflect on the true encounter between two personalities. According to him, such an encounter does not occur when there is something to gain, but when a relationship develops without any interest on the part of either person involved. It is only in these moments, devoid of ulterior motives or expectations, that we can truly understand whether a connection was genuine or merely a mask. Jung invites us to go beyond social conventions and seek a humanity that expresses itself not only in a social context, but also in moments of solitude. For this reason, authenticity is measured in small gestures, in the most imperceptible choices, which escape superficial eyes. Ultimately, it is precisely in these moments that we see who we truly are. If we truly want to know someone's character, we must learn to observe how they treat people who have nothing socially to offer. And this observation requires no psychological expertise or complicated techniques, just presence, awareness, and the ability to see beyond the surface. Another aspect we cannot underestimate is the importance of promises made and kept. Anyone can make promises, but what distinguishes a truly authentic person is their ability to keep a promise even when it would be more comfortable to back out. A promise kept, especially when it is difficult or unpopular, has a value that goes far beyond 1,000 easily uttered words. True consistency manifests itself in moments when no one is watching, when there is no external recognition for our actions. In these circumstances, our behavior reveals our true character. It is when there is no audience that we can truly test our integrity. Jung said, "You are what you do, not what you say you will do." How many times have we heard empty promises, words that were never translated into concrete action? How many times have we found ourselves faced with ignored commitments, promises broken without valid justification? Yet, what distinguishes trustworthy people is not how much they are capable of promising, but how well they are able to keep small promises, even those that seem insignificant to others. Those who are consistent in small things will be equally consistent when circumstances truly demand it. Consistency also concerns ourselves. The question we must ask ourselves is, are we faithful to the promises we make to ourselves? Keeping a commitment to ourselves is the key to developing self-respect. If we're incapable of honoring our goals and respecting our intentions, how can we expect others to do the same? Self-respect comes from keeping our words, from being consistent even when no one is watching. And when we begin to cultivate this internal consistency, we can expect to be authentic with others as well. The world often rewards appearances, but true strength lies in the ability to be authentic even when no one notices. Being kind to those who can't give anything back, keeping a promise no one will check, staying true to ourselves when it would be easier to adapt, copy, or pretend. Being authentic isn't a spectacular act, but a daily choice made in the details, in silence, when no one is watching. This is the truly revolutionary act, acting with integrity, even when no one applauds, keeping your word even when it's difficult, being kind even when there's no going back. The next time you meet someone, ask yourself, who is this person really? Don't be fooled by their charisma or superficial charm, but try to look beyond appearances. A person's true essence is revealed in moments when they have nothing to gain from the interaction, when their behavior is motivated not by a desire to impress, but by their deepest nature. Observe how they act when there is no personal gain to be gained, when there are no prizes, applause, or approval to be received. That's where the truth of who they truly are lies. An authentic person doesn't need to stand out or appear better than they are. Their presence, their energy, their naturalness are evident even in moments of silence, in everyday gestures that might seem insignificant but reveal great meaning. Ask yourself how they behave once they've given their word. Do they keep their promises even when there's no longer a camera filming them, or when the world is no longer watching? Because it's easy to promise something when there are eyes watching us, but the true test of consistency and authenticity occurs when no one is watching, when we are alone with ourselves and our actions. An authentic person doesn't break their word, doesn't change to please others, but remains faithful to their values and principles, regardless of the circumstances. That's where true greatness is demonstrated, not in dramatic gestures, but in everyday choices, in the small actions we take without expecting anything in return. Do the same with yourself. Don't judge yourself solely by your actions in public, but also, and especially, in the moments when you're alone, when there's no outside eye watching. The true measure of our character lies in how we behave when we're alone, when we can choose to do what's right rather than what's convenient. Ask yourself, am I living authentically? Am I consistent with my values and principles, even when no one's watching? Authenticity isn't a gift bestowed upon us, but a conscious decision we make every day. It's a choice that manifests itself in every small gesture, in the words we choose to say, in the promises we make, and those we keep, especially when there's no immediate reward. Every small action we take is a seed planted in our lives, growing into fruit that reflects who we truly are. Never underestimate the power of a small action. A kind smile to a stranger, an unsolicited gesture of help, a word of encouragement to someone going through a difficult time. These small acts may seem insignificant, but they are the foundation of a life lived with authenticity. Every time we act in a way that is consistent with our values, we are building a solid foundation on which our integrity rests. And over time, this foundation allows us to face the greatest challenges with strength, to remain true to ourselves when everything around us changes. The world we leave behind tomorrow is not the result of great undertakings or spectacular acts, but of how we choose to behave today, in the small details of everyday life. Every choice we make, even the smallest, creates the imprint we will leave on the world. And this imprint, which we often don't see immediately, expands over time, influencing those around us and, ultimately, ourselves. So, if we want to live an authentic life, we must begin by cultivating these small daily actions. True transformation lies therein, the one that allows us to build a life that is truly ours, aligned with who we are deepest and not with what the world expects us to be. The real question is not just who am I, but who do I want to be today? Authenticity is not a one-time achievement. It's a daily practice, a commitment to staying true to ourselves, even when the world demands otherwise. Every day is a chance to be our true selves. In our search for authenticity, we realize that the only approval we need is our own. Authenticity isn't just behavior, but a choice reflected in every gesture. Each small action is a seed, shaping the world we leave behind. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe so you don't miss future content. Thank you for being part of this quest for authenticity. Greetings from Philosophy of the Invisible. See you in the next video.